Miss Bomakona.
Yeah.
Welcome. How are you, sir?
Don't slow down now. Yeah, welcome. You're gonna slow down.
How are you, sir? You moving so afraid. You moving so afraid. What's going on?
You are laughing when you send this up.
Do you think you'll go back?
Yekeh Kolubah, welcome.
Folks, good afternoon to you from wherever you are. If you like Liberia, it is actually good afternoon. If you are in other Western countries, it might probably be good morning. And wherever you are, again, we'd like to say thanks for joining us. This is DN News. And of course, we are coming to you live from the Temple of Justice here up Capitol Hill, specifically at the Supreme Court of Liberia, where the court will be hearing today, having a major hearing in the case involving embattled District 10 Representative Yekeh Kolubah versus the House of Representatives. As you may be aware, this issue about Representative Kolubah in the House of Representatives has been in the news for a couple of time now. And of course, the Supreme Court of Liberia earlier on scheduled today, April 29, for a hearing into a bit of information filed by the embattled lawmaker Yekeh Kolubah. So thanks for joining us, and we'll ask that you share our broadcast, invite others to join us live, as we will be here, bring you an exclusive coverage of this court proceeding on today. My name is William Kona, and of course I'm here with Chokon Flaman. Together we will bring you an exclusive coverage here from the Temple of Justice on today, as the Supreme Court of Liberia hears Representative Kolubah and the House of Representatives. So we just do a little background. As you may be aware, sometimes last month, Montserrat County District 3 Representative Sumo Moba wrote a communication to the House of Representatives following the resumption of a special session called for by President Boakai. During that 10-day special session on day 1, Representative Sumo Moba wrote a communication to the House plenary in which he listed several issues linking to Representative Yekeh Kolubah. Grants that the District 10 lawmaker, made statements concerning the dispute between Liberia and Guinea, and of course, some of those statements, according to him, undermined the sovereignty of the state, and also, those statements, they saw some of those statements being treasonous, to Liberia. Another person who wrote a communication was Liberia's National Police Chief, that is the Inspector General of Police, Yekeh Kolubah, also wrote an official communication to the House of Representatives, citing similar concerns that Yekeh should be investigated for making, comments that in their mind undermine Liberia's sovereignty, the constitution, and made major conflict or dispute with another country. So that communication from those two stake actors, led to the House of Representatives following those communication to the House of Representatives Rules Order Administration Committee, which is chaired by James Kohler of Bon County Electoral District 2. And the purpose was to investigate Representative Yekeh Kolubah to see as to whether some of these things that were being said about him were actually true. Why did he make some of those statements? And so the House committee had its own hearing, and I also covered that hearing. The committee had hearing for Representative Yekeh Kolubah, and of course, Representative Kolubah at the time he appeared with his team of lawyers, headed by former Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia, Cabinet Mohammed Jainen, Councillor Jonathan Masakwe, and Councillor Muriah Yekula. These were the three lawyers representing Representative Yekeh Kolubah during the hearing. But the controversy started when the lawyers argued they needed additional time to go and do research, come up and adequately represent their client, Representative Kolubah, during the hearing. And of course, the committee, in its wisdom, said that according to their rules, that is the House of Representatives rules and procedures, lawyers are not to speak during committee investigations or at the House of Representatives. So lawyers go that they only speak to their client, not the client speaking for the lawyer. And that's where the entire controversy started that led to this court hearing. And of course, Representative Kolubah and his team of lawyers walked out of that committee hearing. And of course, they left. At the end of the day, the Committee on Rules Order Administration presented its findings from the hearing to the House plenary, and that was on Friday, April 17. And the plenary of the House of Representatives, through a resolution, was able to unanimously vote, that is having two-thirds majority of the total membership of the House, to constitute Representative Yekeh Kolubah's expulsion. Just before the expulsion, the Supreme Court, according to Representative Yekeh Kolubah, the Supreme Court requested, hold on the entire matter. That is, a writ of prohibition was being filed by the embattled lawmaker and his team of lawyers. Something that the House of Representatives on April 17 stated that they did not have that copy of the communication, and of course they went ahead and took that decision. So fast forward, following all of those developments, all of those different happenings, the lawmaker and his team of lawyers proceeded to the Supreme Court again to file another petition. That is a petition for the Bill of Information. Though we've now understand what exactly the detail of the Bill of Information is, what exactly Representative Yekeh Kolubah wants, we've not, understood that. We've not gotten any information on that. But the Supreme Court, Representative Kolubah and his team of lawyers filed, a petition for a Bill of Information from the House of Representatives. So today, both sides of this case, that is Representative Kolubah and the House of Representatives, are expected to appear before the Honorable Supreme Court at 2:30 p.m. So I'll bring you this information here. I'll get it here very quickly. This is DA News, and we'd like to say thank you so much for joining us again, live from the Supreme Court of Liberia. Wilmot Kona is my name. I'm here with Chogun Flaman. Okay, so we are told that Representative Yekeh Kolubah is currently en route to the Supreme Court of Liberia. So the moment he comes, we'll be reaching out to him to see as to whether we can actually bring you some of these updates as to whether what's going to be, what is he really praying for? What is Representative Yekeh Kolubah praying for before the Honorable Supreme Court? We'll be reaching out to him to hear from him as well. So this piece here, it says Supreme Court to hear Kolubah's Bill of Information against Speaker Kuhn today. The Supreme Court of Liberia is set to hear arguments at 2:30 p.m. today in a Bill of Information filed by Montserrat County District Representative Yekeh Kolubah against the House of Representatives Speaker Rachel Kuhn, Deputy Speaker Thomas Falla, and other House leadership. According to a notice of assignment signed April 20th by the Supreme Court clerk, Councillor Sam Mamulu, Justice Kaba will preside in chambers over the case. Kolubah's legal team is led by Councillor Jonathan T. Masakwe of two young liquor chambers, and of course the Marshal of the Supreme Court, Brigadier General Amos B. Kessa Dixon. Sorry, let me get it here. Amos B. Kessa Dixon was commanded to notify all parties to appear for today's hearing. The bill of information has not been detailed in the notice. A bill of information is typically used to inform the court of matters affecting its orders or to seek clarification enforcement of a previous ruling. So that's it. Both parties are expected to arrive here at the Supreme Court at about 2:30 for Representative Kolubah's bill of information. We've just been told by, I've just been informed by my colleague Chokin Flaman that the lawmaker is currently en route for the Supreme Court. So the moment he comes, like I said earlier, we will be reaching out to him as well. But there have been lots of critical analysis that have been made in this entire case. That is, some pundits have come out to say there have been precedent cases that whenever the Supreme Court rules in these kinds of political matters, it is obvious from what some pundits have been saying. They've said that the Supreme Court opinion or decision in these kinds of hardcore political cases don't normally change what the outcome will be. That is, they've told us that for the fact that the House of Representatives has already taken its decision to expel Representative Yekeh Kolubah, some pundits have consistently said that no matter what's going to be the ruling, whether in favor of Representative Yekeh Kolubah, it might not change, the decision that the guys up capital here, that is at the House of Representatives, have already taken. And some have also said the rule of law is one of the key issues in the country. So obviously many people, some of the pundits have said, yes, if the Supreme Court say the guys should go back to Capitol building to follow the established rules and procedures, and that is the due process, obviously that will be done. And one representative that I interviewed on last Thursday at the House of Representatives was Representative Yekeh Collins of Lofa County District 4. He also signed onto the resolution that led to the expulsion of Representative Yekeh Kolubah. And one thing he told me was that if the Supreme Court rules in favor of Yekeh Kolubah, that is to say, hey, guys, go back up Capitol Hill, go back to the Capitol building and solve your problems. Obviously, according to him, Representative Yekeh Collins, according to him, yes, he and his colleagues, that is the 49 members who signed onto the resolution to remove Kolubah, will be willing to listen to the Supreme Court ruling to go back to the Capitol building and and have and follow whatever the Supreme Court will tell them. But again, there have been different views from different lawmakers. Some have said, hey, this is a political ground. This is not a court. And one lawmaker who made that very clear was Representative Fode Famule. Fode Famule is Bon County District 7 representative, and he also signed onto the resolution to expel Yekeh Kolubah. One thing he said during the consistently emphasized is that Capitol building is a political ground. It is not a place for lawyers to come and speak. And lawyers want to speak, and they should be able to speak to the legal counsel. So that's a political ground. That's what majority of the guys have said. That's a political ground. So this is one of the reasons why many pundits have said uh, this case, which is currently at the Supreme Court and is expected to be here today, whatever the outcome will be of Yekeh Kolubah, it will not change the decision of capital. And these have been some of the different opinions, the different views from Liberians who have been following different political trends within the country. Some of them have cited the removal of the former speaker, Councillor J. Fonanti Kofa. When the former speaker was when the process for his removal was ongoing, he also ran to the Supreme Court and of Liberia to for writ of prohibition to stop the guys for what they were doing. And the Supreme Court ruled in his favor. At the end of the day, the decision that the guys should go back and follow due process, that was done, and yes, it was followed. So the views of it is that once the guys make that decision of capital here at the capital building, it's not always going to change. Again, there have been other views saying it happened before, and the Supreme Court sent the guys back to follow the due process, and of course, Kofa was duly being removed. That is, the House went by and presided on his gavel, and everything went on until his final removal. So we are just bringing you these different highlights about how people feel about the process, what have been some analysis, surrounding this entire thing, and how probably this going to end. So the case, yes, it is before the court, and the court will be making that decision on today. The court will be hearing from them. We don't know as to whether there will be a definite decision made here today concerning this entire proceedings. But whatever is going to be, yes, DN News Liberia will keep it posted here to providing you the regular updates and giving you everything that you deserve to make sure that you get adequately informed about this proceeding. So already the grounds of the capital opinion is becoming charged. There are lots of Liberians who are interested in this case. Some have followed lengthily from the beginning, and yes, they actually want to get the first-hand information from here today. So obviously there will be Liberians who will troop here at the Supreme Court of Liberia to make sure that they understand what's going to be the proceeding. But one thing Representative Yekeh Kolubah has consistently maintained, that he has done nothing wrong to the state, and the statement he made has no trace in a weight in it. There's nothing in his statement that causes treason, and he has not undermined the Constitution. He has not brought the House of Representatives to public disrepute. He has maintained that stance, and of course, we just saw the arrival of Councillor Kapina Jainen, who is the lawyers representing Representative Yekeh Kolubah. Kapina Jainen, the former Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia. You can see him there wearing a dominant navy blue coat suit, and of course he has just arrived here. I see him, probably his office assistants working with him with a bunch of photos, carrying different documents to make sure that Representative Yekeh Kolubah is adequately represented. As a matter of fact, he is the lead on the Battle Lawmakers legal team, so he has arrived. We also look forward to seeing the arrival of officials from the House of Representatives, the House Rules Committee Chairperson James Collier. We're hoping that we will see his arrival of Deputy Speaker, the Speaker of the House, and their legal team as well, to make sure that this hearing this hearing can actually go on as planned communication. So the time is 10 minutes up to 2:30. That is 2:20 p.m. in Liberia. Exactly 2:20 p.m. and the hearing is expected to start by 2:30. So far, Representative Yekeh Kolubah has now arrived here at the Temple of Justice. But we've seen one of his lawyers, that is Councillor Kapina Jane, the former Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia, who was impeached some years back. And of course, like I said, the House of Representatives as well. We've now also seen their representative, that is members of the House of Representatives leadership. We've not seen them as well, and the hearing is expected to start um, by by 2:30. So yes, different views from Liberians, different opinions about how this entire case going to end, or probably what's going to be the outcome of this entire case. So news, let's see as to whether we can go online and recognize some of our viewers, some of those who are watching us this afternoon here live from the Supreme Court of Liberia. And okay, Jody Pandu comments. This person says, I really want to hear this matter and be finished with Yekeh. And another person here, Blossom says, let Yekeh patch his, I think this is an informal word, so I don't want to read that here. Somebody says, that's Makey Williams says, Mr. Kolubah, don't worry, you have already win this case. Okay. Nancy Bala says, go take him. We are not here to take fork from Queen Contest. We are not here to take fork for Queen Contest. Another person is also here saying, I am really need Yekeh present. I think this person meant I really need Yekeh present. I want to see him. Okay, that's K. Bokanen. Collie Joe says, I know Yekeh will return to office. And this person says, I'm watching from Cameroon. That's Abraham T. Thomas. Thanks for watching as well. This person as well, Andy Noir, says, I'm watching from Montokade, Yekepa, Nima County. Thank you, Andy. Master Gas says, I'm watching you from Totota City, Lower Bon County. K. Bokanen, please inbox me. Who's inboxing you here? James Harris says, I'm watching from Mama, Liberia. Thanks so much, James. Charles Seta Wilson says, watching from the USA. Thank you so much, Charles Seta. Mario Kuhlman says, good evening. I'm watching from Campley City. J. Rolantier says, good afternoon. My name is J. Rolantier, watching from Kakata City, Maigibi County. William K. Sumowulu says, good afternoon. I'm watching from New York, Stanton Island, USA. This person here also says, that's Ben Godgrace Batua, says, watching you live from Boulevard Junction. Abraham Duo says, watching live from UK. And all of our viewers who are watching, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching us, and we want to ask that you share our broadcast this afternoon to make sure that we have additional folks watching us as well from Honorable Supreme Court of Liberia, the final arbiter of justice in our country. Here as is set to hear Representative Yekeh Kolubah versus the House of Representatives case. So Yekeh has consistently raised issues about due process. One of the things that he told us after the first appearance before the House Committee on Rules Order Administration was that he is not afraid to be removed as a representative or to be expelled or whatever decision. But his major argument is for the established rules and procedures, to be followed, to ensure that the rule of law, his words, the rule of law is his concern, but he is not concerned about whether or not, he's going to be removed from the House of Representatives, but he wants the rules of the House to be respected and to align with the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia to ensure that the rule of law is respected. One thing he also said was the rule of law has consistently been, he alleged that the rule of law has consistently been, disrespected or violated under this government. And he, as a lawmaker who believes in the rule of law, when I allow something to go against his will. So, yes, that has been his stand. He wants everything that is accorded when it comes to due process, everything about due process to be accorded the process, to be accorded him, before, the final decision is taken. And yes, one of the laughable things that happened, if you will, one of the controversial things that happened within this entire proceedings. Yekeh Kolubah is a member of the House of Representatives, a rule of law caucus. As you may be aware, during the removal of the former speaker, this rule of law caucus thing emerged, and of course, it was earlier being headed by Representative Musa Hassan Belite of Nema District 7. He was heading that caucus, and was later being transferred to Yekeh Kolubah, who comes from Mount Sorado County. Sorry, that's Grand Jita County. Was head of the rule of law caucus, and on the day of the expulsion, his name was being called. That he also signed onto the resolution to remove his rule of law member Yekeh Kolubah. Like many were concerned, is it that Yekeh went against the rule of law? That's why his chairman on rule of law, Yekeh Kolubah, voted against him. It was kind of controversial. Many people had different say concerning the matter. However, one thing he said was he believes in the rule of law, and of course the rule of law must be respected. Whether he should be removed, that is not his concern. To be expelled, that is not his concern. But everything about him currently is for the rule of law to be respected, and for his colleagues and members of the House of Representatives to go back and start the entire process and giving due diligence, giving due process, and what the House rule says and what the Constitution says as well. All of those things should be followed. That decisions of national concern should not be violating legal principles. That has been his argument. And as well, lawmakers from the other angle, that is from the House of Representatives. So there you see Representative Yekeh Kolubah's vehicle. We are trying to see as to whether we can reach him to speak with him. You see the vehicle of the embattled lawmaker of District 10, Mount Sorado County. There you see it. There you see it. Let's see as to whether we can speak with him right here shortly. The embattled lawmaker Yekeh Kolubah. Honorable Kolubah, welcome to DA News. My name is Yekeh Kolubah. Welcome. How are you, sir?
Just slow down now. You're gonna slow down.
How are you, sir? You moving so afraid. You moving so afraid. What's going on? Do you think you'll go back?
Honorable Yekeh Kolubah, welcome to the media.
No, but after 1 minute, do you think you'll go back to the house? Are you sure you're going back?
How you been since the explosion?
Many people say you are depressed because of this explosion. What's going on? Will you go back?
You want to the issue of memory.
Why are you scaring away from the media this time?
Mama, don't step on my shoes.
Why are you scaring away?
Money for the shoes.
Are you afraid to talk?
I was live after being out of the house. For the shoes.
How much? Where you get that? I'm excited to me.
Let me appreciate all of you people. I will appreciate if people wait. I go up for the hearing and come up and speak to the people.
Are you afraid to speak this time?
Can you please allow me to go up, listen to what the judge will say, listen to what the Supreme Court will say, listen to what the judge in Chima will say. I will come down and speak.
Are you a former lawmaker?
I can now be former lawmaker. If anybody be former, it will be Joseph Walker. Joseph Walker will be former president.
Why did they not go over Why did they not go over second last?
When you step on my shoe, you will pay. I pay too much money for that.
You started yourself as a former lawmaker already.
So, Monserrate County District representing the battle maker, Yekeh Kolubah. You can see him there, moving in. So you listen to him. He has declined to speak on to this proceeding, but he has maintained that he is not. He still remains a lawmaker of Monserrate County District 10. Contrary to what his colleagues have said, that this place is a political ground. When we take our decision, no matter what, you're not going to come back here. So let's speak with Representative James Collier.
We have always been here.
You were asked to send in a response to the bill of recommendation yesterday. How was it?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so you prepared now for the conference?
We were studying for today for the argument. It's not a conference any longer.
Representative.
Any longer with the prohibition. There was a bill of information filed, and the bill of information says that we violated the Supreme Court mandate of stopping or prohibiting the expulsion. And we still stand our ground that we were not legally or rightfully served. We had no service. How do you expect us to stop our actions by the court mandate when the court mandate has not been issued us? So this is why we are here for the argument.
My name is Yekeh Kolubah from DA News. Do you think? Yeah. I'm Yekeh Kolubah from DA News.
The former lawmaker have just indicated to the member of the press that he can never be expelled by this body.
So let me say it is his opinion. Does his opinion mean it's a final decision? No. The legislature has its own rules, and it is the rules that govern members of the legislature. So by an individual stating their view about it, it doesn't mean it is. Take for instance, one might say that I'm not going to accept this thing. Does it mean that it will be done the way it should be done? No, it is his opinion. So then you can next. You will ask, don't worry. Let's DN, you'll come in.
If the Supreme Court rules that you go by and follow due process, what's going to be your stance? Considering
due process was accorded. This is why we don't understand you guys. We are present to the public. Due process was accorded. Take for instance, Honorable Kolubah, the then or the former lawmaker, was written to appear before the committee. When he was written, he wrote the committee asking for an extension of 5 working days or 5 business days. Out of the 5 business days, the committee granted him an excuse for 2 business days. And after 2 business days, he came with his lawyer. Take for instance, let us practical last it. You are a party to a suit, or in legal say party litigants, and I'm a party litigant also to this suit. You are the judge, or he's a judge. We went before the judge, And on behalf of my client, I filed a motion for continuance as an opportunity of more time. And in that process, the judge denied that motion. What do you do now in that case? Do you automatically walk out of the hearing? So you think when you walk out of the hearing, the case will come to an end? So by you walking away from the hearing, while you file a motion, remember, you have brought yourself under the jurisdiction of the court of the hearing. To sit there, the hearing commences. Then you say, I don't ready for this hearing. Your Honor, please give me more time. The Honor said, no, it is denied. Last week, I gave you 2 days. So today, again, I cannot give more time because we had limited time with the mandate given to us. Then you voluntarily walk away. Does that mean the hearing comes to an end? No. The matter continues. And you saw it with the complainant taking his stamp, presenting his case, with presenting his pieces of evidence. He was cross-examined, and the report were compiled in the process. So I'm just trying to say, if the judge deny you the continue, it doesn't mean you walk away. If you walk away legally, you suffer for waiver and license, you slap on your right.
Will anything change here? Will anything change as a follow-up?
What exactly are you doing here to the court when they did not receive?
Pardon me?
They have said they did not receive a writ from the court to carry on the expulsion of the Yekeh Kolubah. What exactly are you doing as an officer of law?
So let me say this. Under our judicial system, there are procedures. You should understand those procedures. Under the civil procedure, chapter 3, there's something called special appearance. Special appearance says, special appearance is done when you did not receive the precept or you were not served the precept. So in that process, you come to the perhaps you heard it in the grapevine, in the words of Councillor Sherman, or perhaps you heard it in the press, or wherever you might have heard it, or there's a rate against Kole, or there's a precept against Kole. And in that process, Kole will never serve the precept. Honor special appearance in chapter 3 of the civil procedure. Your Honor, here am I. I've heard that the precept has been served, but I have not seen the precept. So the first time we came here on the basis of special appearance, which is called for under the law. It doesn't mean that we're served. No, we still stated clear we're not served. And let me say this to you for argument's sake. The last time when I was here, I told your colleagues I was here. I don't know if some of you were opportune. You were opportune, right? I said to you, do the listening audience justice by conducting the research. If you conduct a research, you present the facts to the listening audience, they will believe you more than we the parties. The first thing we don't understand is on the issue of service. Our rule is clear, rule 25.6 is clear on who to be served. If you were to allow me to read for you our rule here, I will read it for you word by word. The sergeant at arms is the chief police officer for the House of Representatives, even the Congress in the US. It is the sergeant at arms. The sergeant at arms is responsible for all correspondence, to and flow. So whenever there are documentations leaving the house, it is the sergeant at arms. When there are documentations coming to the house, it is the sergeant at arms who receives it and sends it to the office of the chief clerk for onward submission to the speaker or leadership or the full plenary. This is something that it is written by law, it is on the book. So it disappoints me that people say who doesn't understand it, who have no clue to it, will pretend as if they know what is happening when they know nothing about what is happening.
Honorable Kole, have you seen the way? Let's go to
Any decision from you. You say Yekeh voluntarily left, but he said because you deny his lawyer, that is why he left.
So I just said it to you, Che, don't delay my time. I have a hypothetical situation. And you file a motion. Do you know it is a right of the judge to deny a motion or grant a motion? Do you know that? It is a right that the judge has. He or she enjoys. So whenever a motion is being denied, you have other remedies. That's why many times you see justices, they are taking on summary proceeding and the rest of it. So there are always remedies available. So you still have the right to make an appeal to the next highest body. You understand that? So now that went to the court, you file a motion, and the judge denied the motion, then you put your hand in your pocket, you walk away. So you insinuate that the matter will come to an end? You dead. What you got communication? Yeah, we don't send communication. We send response. Let me say this. I said that there was, after the rate, they purported to rape, which were not served. We came on special appearance. I said that to you. On the basis of the special appearance, the court informed us that there was a bill of information, and we were served a copy of the bill of information, and we responded to the copy of the bill of information. It is on the basis that today, at this time, is scheduled for the hearing.
Anything within the decision?
9.2 of the House's rule talk about expulsion of any member of the House on the court. So what is the basis for which today Yekeh Kolubah is being...
Were you opportune to have listened to the report of the committee? Were you opportune to listen to the report of the committee?
I was there, but there are many people watching.
So no, this is why I always say to you guys, you make your work easy. We can't be the newsmaker, they will be the interviewer. It's not possible. You are the one. So no, listener. If you now tell the public on Yekeh Kolubah, the former lawmaker was expelled for this reason, they will believe you more than I say it to them. You listen to the report, and I'm quite sure you have a copy of the report. So it was just sufficient enough to go to the report and inform the librarian people on the count of this man was expelled.
Who played major role in his removal? Do you think?
So who are those politicians that have played major roles?
Legislators, including you, signed the signature.
So let me say this to you. Let me come back to the same Supreme Court. During the trial of Justice Janet, there was a petition filed before this Honorable Supreme Court. And I remember the Chief Justice, by then Justice Kolubah, said he could not steal away from presiding over the proceedings of the impeachment trial because such responsibility was imposed on him of the state, the Constitution. It was imposed on him by law. So by me sitting to preside as the chair of rule orders in administration, it also imposed that responsibility on me to investigate any of our colleagues that might come in conflict with the standing rules of the House of Representatives. So it doesn't mean I'm against Yekeh Kolubah. It doesn't mean I'm the one who expelled Yekeh Kolubah. I'm only playing a role that is imposed on me by statute. So if I did not want to investigate, then I have to resign as rule and orders chair.
Finally,
that is rule orders chair.
Finally, from my end,
to investigate any other process.
Finally, from my end.
As to speak to you, currently, we have an investigative report that is before the committee for one of our colleagues in person, Luther Collins. We also have another communication that has been sent to the committee for the investigation of Honorable Sam P. Jala. So I'm just saying to you, we are not against these comrades. We are not and will never. But because of the role we play, we have to discharge the functions.
Would the court change anything within the decision that you took?
Pardon me? Why you want me to preempt the court?
I'm asking you, sir.
No, but you be asking us why you want to preempt the court. So in your mind, what the court will say?
Can you answer the question?
Answer the question.
So I'm per the statutory responsibility and legally, I'm convinced that the court will agree with us that we will not serve.
So I
want to say this to you. We are done with due process. Okay. We told you that Honorable Kolubah was ready to appear. He also sent an excuse request of 5 days to grant in 2 days. He came with his lawyers. The hearing started, and while the hearing was ongoing, he wanted the lawyer to speak for him and pay our proceedings and procedures. Lawyers do not speak for you. Lawyers only guide you what to say or what not to say. You speak for yourself. And besides that, I also told you at that point, they voluntarily walk away. And I brought the scenario about a judge. If a motion is filed and the motion is denied, you voluntarily walk away. Do you expect the right of the complainant to be affected by a decision of walk away voluntarily? So I don't expect you to ask for due process. So I will say to you that at this time we have to go for the hearing. So I will want to stop everything after the hearing. That would be after the hearing. That would be after the hearing.
Is the House of Representatives chair on rules order administration. You listen to him there. That he's optimistic. He's very sure that this court, the Supreme Court of Liberia, will rule in his favor. And yes, it is obvious. Everyone going to legal proceedings will always have the mindset. Will always say, "Hey, I'm right." I'm going to be right in this case. So when you fail to answer as to whether the House will adhere to whatever decision, if the decision will not favor him, he failed to answer that question as to whether Representative Kolubah will go back to the chambers of the Honorable House of Representatives. So yes, the proceeding is currently ongoing as per the communication, as per the Supreme Court document. So earlier on, Representative Yekeh Kolubah was here, and you also listened to him that he's optimistic as well that the rule of law, his arguments will be the Supreme Court will see reasons to his to make sure that his arguments, are being listened to. So DN News, this is DN News Liberia, and of course we are live here from the Supreme Court of Liberia. Today is Wednesday, April 29. My name is Wilmot Kona, and of course I'm here with Chokan Flaman, who's behind the scene providing the bits and pieces of information here for this broadcast as well. So yes, you listen to Representative James Collier. You listen to his own analysis on the entire issue. He's optimistic that they will be victorious of this entire proceedings. But refusing to state as to whether they will listen to they will listen to the Supreme Court if its decision goes against them. You also listen to him talking about that. He did not answer to that question as to whether if the Supreme Court say, hey, House, go back here, Chimas, do this and do that, he did not, respond to that question. So, thank you so much. Keep being here as we await whatever decision the Supreme Court will provide here. He also denied that the House of Representatives did not receive an earlier writ, as was being earlier said. He maintained that they did not receive a writ of prohibition on the date of the impeachment. So a lot of different happenings in this case. So James Collier is so far the only member of leadership from the House of Representatives who has arrived here at the Supreme Court of Liberia. So folks, we'll go for a break and we'll resume later to continue this broadcast live here from the Honorable Supreme Court of Liberia, the final arbiter of justice in the Republic of Liberia. Thanks so much for watching. Wilmot Conan and Chokan Flaman, we are still posted here, and we'll join you subsequently as we get more updates from the hearing today involving the House of Representatives.